All right, hi everybody. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to be going over the condomanagement.com board overview. My name is Maggie Lyons. I'm a licensed community manager with First Community. I'll be conducting this afternoon's training. My colleague Rich Green is also going to be joining me at the end for the Q&A portion, so just be aware as we're going through questions, he may be assisting. So for those of you joining us today on a desktop, I just want to go over a couple of quick webinar tools before we get started. At the top of your screen, you'll notice a couple of small icons. There's an emoji-looking icon, which will allow you to share your feedback. Feel free to use that at any point during the presentation. There's also an Ask a Question tool, where you can submit questions during any portion of the presentation. Just be aware that we will be holding all questions until the end. We'll do a Q&A portion. So, feel free to hold on to those questions or submit them as they come in, and we'll go through them. And then lastly, if you're noticing that the audio on your computer is not as optimal as you'd like, there's a little phone icon that'll allow you the information to switch your audio to your telephone. Now, if you're joining us today on a mobile device like a tablet or a smartphone, you'll see that the same mobile webinar tools are available. The location might just be slightly different, either on the left side of your phone or the top of your tablet. So just a quick precursor, if any of you joined us yesterday for the unit owner training, what we're going to be starting with today goes over a lot of the same features. And then in the latter half of the training, we'll be reviewing some of the additional features available only to board members. So just wanted to note that before we get started. But first and foremost, what is condomanagement.com? It's a communication and information portal, and it helps board members meet their fiduciary responsibilities. It also helps unit owners to stay informed about their major investments, and it helps them to communicate with First Community Management about issues in real time at their buildings. Lastly, it helps First Community, both community managers and assistant community managers, provide information efficiently and expediently to your community. So what are some of the functions of condomanagement.com? It serves as a customized website portal for each owner, providing access to detailed association-specific information. It also serves as a communication tool for owners. A couple of examples of ways that owners can communicate are by submitting work orders or submitting questions, comments, or concerns through the Contact Us form. It also serves as an online payment platform for owners to pay assessments and fees. Additionally, it serves as an association-specific document storage. Unit owners can reference the document storage section at any time, which is immensely helpful if you're looking for specific information outside of our business hours. And then lastly, it's an outgoing communication tool for First Community to use to get information out to unit owners about their associations quickly and efficiently. So what are some of the features of condomanagement.com? As I just iterated, online payments are one of those features for paying of assessments or fees. It also allows unit owners to review their individual account ledgers where you can see charges, payments for a specified period of time. It allows unit owners to submit work orders, review association directories. Again, this is specific to your community. Review your personal violations history. So this would only be applicable if your unit has received a violation, but you'd be able to go back and review details pertaining to that violation. It also allows you to review calendars and upcoming events for your community, as well as review documents, photo galleries if applicable. And then board members have special access to review accounts receivable for all members of their community, and to also review violations for all members of their community. And then it also serves as a communication tool, which we're able to utilize through broadcast texting. This is especially a good feature in the event of an emergency where information needs to go out quickly. And then a broadcast email feature. So many of you have probably seen memos come out from your community manager, and this is the medium that we use to deliver those messages. So first we'll start by talking about how to get started. If you are visiting condomanagement.com for the first time, this is what our homepage looks like. And what you'll need to do is create an account. If you haven't done so in the past, or if you have, you'll need to log into your account in order to see all of the features. So you'll start by clicking the green resident login button up at the top right. From there, if you've created an account before, you'll enter your information and log in. If you are creating an account for the first time, you can go ahead and click that register button to enter your information. Just a couple things to be aware of. It can take up to 1 business day for our office to approve access to your account, so it's not necessarily instantaneous. And then we've also had owners report that not all of the communication regarding registration comes through their emails easily. So we always recommend to monitor your junk mail after you've registered, and then add do not reply at condomanagement.com to your trusted email list. And this will ensure that any communication being sent from condomanagement.com again gets to you quickly without being stuck in your junk mail. All right, so after you've created an account and you're logging in, this is what your homepage is going to look like. Up in the left-hand corner, you'll see the name of your association. Up in the right-hand corner, you'll see your own name and your account number. And then you'll see a blue ribbon at the top with all the different functions and features available to you. So as I sort of hinted at the beginning of the presentation, board members will have additional access available. So if you're a board member and you're logging into your account, you'll see some additional options in that blue ribbon for drop-down menus. You'll also have all the same access as your regular unit owner. So we're going to start today by going over what the regular unit owner is able to see, and then we'll build upon that to show you what board members have special access to. So starting with unit owner access, the first function we'll go over is the Pay Assessments tab. And the Pay Assessments tab allows you to make payments by electronic check or credit card and to make one-time or recurring payments. So if you're making a one-time payment or recurring payment, just a couple things to be aware of. For electronic payments, there's a $1.99 third-party service fee that's applied for every payment made. That $1.99 fee is a flat fee no matter how much your payment is, so just something to be aware of. And you can set up your payment to come from either the checking or savings account of your choice. Now, if you'd prefer to pay by credit card, that's fine too. There's a 3.25% third-party service fee based on credit card payments. So just be aware of that. If you're making a larger payment via credit card, the service fee is going to be larger based on that percentage-based service fee. And then also note all of the standard credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, or American Express are accepted. So if you'd like to set up recurring payments, there's also the option to do that. The third-party service fees that we just discussed are also applicable to recurring payments, so just be aware that that'll be tacked on a monthly basis for any new recurring payment that's set up. A pop-up window will display, which would allow you to choose the dollar amount, payment date, and frequency for your recurring payment. So it really does give you a lot of control based on your own situation on how to set up your payments. And then one other important thing to note is that users who choose to do recurring payments through the condomanagement.com website do need to be aware that any changes in their assessments need to be updated by the unit owner themselves. So an example of this would be if at the end of the year, you as a board or your board is passing a budget with an assessment increase, each unit owner that signed up for recurring payments will need to log into their account and manually make the adjustment before the first of the year to reflect the change in assessments. One other thing to note with recurring payments, and this seems to happen sometimes when people are first setting them up, is if you are setting up your payment today, let's say today's the first of the month, and you set up your payment for the first of the month, it's not going to go through until the following month. So just don't be surprised if you're setting up your payment for that same date and it doesn't go through until next month. That's completely normal. What you'll need to do is just make a one-time payment for this month, and then your recurring payments will start as of the next. So since we're on the subject of talking about payment methods, I just wanted to talk about our ACH, our automatic debit program, and talk about some of the benefits and how it compares to the recurring payment option offered through condomanagement.com. So ACH is automatically withdrawn on the 5th of every month, and it automatically adjusts for changes in assessments or account credits. So it's really convenient because there's not a lot of thought that needs to go into ACH since it automatically adjusts. One thing you do have to do if you want to enroll in ACH or update your information or cancel ACH, it does require a physical form to be completed. So if you're interested in enrolling, you can reach out to your assistant community manager and request an enrollment form, and it'll have information on there on where exactly you need to submit it and all that good stuff. Now, just to compare that with the recurring payment that we just talked about, again, this is the recurring payment feature set up through condomanagement.com. So with recurring payment, you have a little bit more flexibility to set up what day of the month that your payment is withdrawn on. You're not tacked into that 5th of the month like you are with ACH. But again, the other thing you have to keep in mind is that you have to manually adjust changes. You have to manually adjust for changes in your assessments or account credit. So it takes a little bit more thought, and you need to be a little bit more on top of recurring payment changes. The other nice thing with recurring payments is enrollments, updates, or cancellations are completed by the unit owner through the website. So you have the flexibility to log in 24 hours a day and make changes with that versus ACH, where you have to actually physically submit a form and wait for that processing to go through. All right, so next we'll go over the different functions under the My Account tab. Starting with My Profile. And this contains all of your user and login information for condomanagement.com, along with your directory listing preferences. So when it comes to directory listings, and we'll go through this in greater detail in a little bit, directory listings allow for unit owners to provide their information or to make it available to other unit owners who want to be included in the directory. Some of the information that you can opt to include would be your name, address, email address, and phone number. So just be aware if you want to keep your information private or if you want to share your information with other owners, you have the ability to adjust those settings under the My Profile tab. And then one other important thing to be aware of is if you ever have changes in your email address or phone number, the default email address and phone number for association notifications is dictated through the My Profile tab. So you'll always want to make your adjustments to those items in this tab to ensure that the most up-to-date information is on file so that you can receive association notifications. All right, next is payment history. So this allows unit owners to review payments and charges over a selected period of time. You can see that you have the ability to select a specific date range if you're looking for information for only a short period, or you can widen that to see the payment history over your entire period of occupancy. You'll be able to see the date, a description of the charge, what the charge is, any amounts paid, and then what the subsequent balance is after charges and payments. So this is a really helpful tool to keep track of your personal accounting. Next is work orders. So unit owners have two options when submitting a work order. You can either contact the assistant community manager directly, or you can submit a work order online. Online work orders still do go to the assistant community manager as well as the community manager. But the nice benefit about online work orders is that it allows you to review progress, status, and notes on that work order as things are progressing with it. So in order to submit a work order, you'll need to click Add Work Order button, and then a description with details on what the item is will be required. Now there's an optional Add Attachments feature. If there are, for example, any photos that help better describe the issue or the location of the issue, this would be a great function to use so that those details can be submitted with the work order and can be provided to the vendor that needs to follow up on it. Now, if you want to track a work order, again, you have the ability to do that as well. You can click work orders under My Account, and you can review open or closed work orders. So if you submitted things in the past that you want to go back and review, you have the ability to do that under the tracking feature if you submitted the original work order through condomanagement.com. Another nice function of the tracking feature is if things have progressed or changed since you originally submitted your work order and new information has come through that you need to share with us about that, you can click the Add a Comment or Add Attachments button next to that work order and provide some additional comments or some follow-up pictures so that we're aware that there's changes in the status since the original work order was submitted. All right, next we'll go through the Information tab. And first we'll go under the Documents tab. So unit owners will have access to some certain association-specific documents, such as association mailings or memos, budgets, governing documents, approved meeting minutes, management plans, yearly financial statements, and then sales or refinance forms. Unit owners will also have the ability to look at the calendar feature, which documents upcoming association events. So most commonly, you'll see things like board meetings, moves or deliveries that have been scheduled, pest control services if that's applicable to your community, or any miscellaneous items. Examples of miscellaneous items would be if you have like a community room or other common areas that are frequently rented out. Those items may be noted on the calendar so you have that information that the community room or other common areas might not be available on a certain date. And then the Directories tab. So if you remember when we talked about my profile, I had mentioned that owners have the ability to select whether or not they want to be included in the directory. And this is where that directory really comes into play. So remember, owners have to opt in if they want their information visible. If a phone number, address, or email address is not present, just please keep in mind that it was at the owner's request and that they want to maintain privacy in that regard. All right, so we've gone over all of the functions for basic unit owner access. Now we'll talk a little bit about the additional board member functions that come into play. So the blue ribbon at the top when you first log in, if you're logging in as a board member, you're going to have an additional tab now called Board View. And you'll also have additional access to documents. So all of the documents we talked about before will be available, but then there'll be additional documents that may be specific to your role as a board member, like action item lists, monthly financials, paid invoices, reserve or loan statements, income tax returns, and board packets. So those are always great if you need to reference documents from previous meetings or previous monthly financials for your reference. Then the board's account receivable tab is actually a new one that is only available to board members. So this tab highlights delinquent owners throughout the collection process. So as a board member, you're able to actually filter through based on collection level. If you're looking for owners at a specific level, you're able to actually select a specific owner's balance, bring that up to review their full ledger. And then through this tab, you also have links to view any open violations or work orders for a specific unit. So that's where you see the little V or the WO that are circled here on this slide. You can select if there are numbers underneath to obtain additional information on those items. You also have the board violations tab. Sorry about that. You have the board violations tab where you're able to view any issued violations against unit owners. So this will give you the account number, the homeowner's name and address, just a quick description of the violation details, and then the blue details button on the right, you can click to actually get specific or more in-depth details on what the violation entails. You can also use the view function on here to sort if you're looking for specifically violations without fines, violations with fines, pending violations, items of those nature. So you can really utilize that function to find exactly what you're looking for. I just want to thank you all so much again for attending today. If you have any last minute questions, we'll give everybody a moment here to submit those questions via the Q&A function. And then in a moment here, we'll bring that up so that we can address those questions. If you think of anything too after you get off the webinar today and you realize that you really have something pressing that you want to reach out to us about, you can always send those questions to info@condomanagement.com. All right, so we will start with the first question here. Can the online payment fees be waived? Nancy, thank you for asking that. That's a good question. Unfortunately, the online payment fees cannot be waived because it's a third-party processor that completes the e-check and credit card payment. So it's out of our control that those fees are applied and unfortunately cannot be waived. All right, Fred asked, what are the different collections levels on the account receivables page? So Fred, that's a good question. The collections levels start with a friendly reminder, and that is if a unit owner has a small balance and has become somewhat delinquent, that will be, sort of the initial level that that entails sending out a notification. From there, it goes up to a collections notice, which is based on any unit that has a balance of $100 or more, that is 30 or more days delinquent past the association's due date. After that, the next collection level is going to be send to attorney. And with that collection level, that's for a unit that has a substantial balance that's sat on the account for a significant amount of time. And at that point, your association manager should be discussing options with the board on whether or not to potentially send that unit owner to collections. Oh, thank you, Monica. I appreciate that. And then Christine asks, are there fees for ACH? So Christine, that's a great question. There are no fees associated with ACH. So that's one of the biggest benefits with utilizing the ACH program is it's completely free to use. And that was the last question. Once again, I want to thank you all so much for coming this afternoon. It's been a real pleasure going through this with you. And if you have any other questions, again, feel free to send them to info@condomanagement.com.